Music executives tell Billboard that they are worried and depressed as the industry struggles to find big artist breakthroughs, noting Olivia Rodrigo and Ice Spice as the last recently successful ones. Nobody knows how to break music right now. Each person I talk to in the industry is more depressed about this than the person I talked to before them. I'm going to be real here. I think we're at a point where a lot of these big mainstream popular artists aren't connecting with any sort of fan base or audience. A lot of their songs aren't written by themselves, they're written by other people and then just performed by these singers, whatever. I think people miss that authenticity that came with the singer-songwriter persona, sort of like Taylor Swift. She writes her own songs, they're about her own personal experiences, so people really connect to that. I feel like with all this ghostwriting and this industry plant sort of stuff, a lot of times people just don't feel connected to it. They don't feel inspired by it and they want something real. Nobody wants to listen to something that just feels like a product that was just created for them to buy. It's just no fun. Music executives tell Billboard that they are worried and depressed as the industry struggles to find.
Compared to the 2000s and 2010s, where you had Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, Adele, Bruno Mars, Ed Sheeran, imagine telling one of them that, oh, we're not going to sign you because you don't already have 1 million followers. I'll give you an example. I work in the music industry. I'm no one important right now, but I keep my eyes and ears open because I like to know what's going on. Here's my example. I know a music producer who's much older, so even though he's not famous, he has a lot of connections at a major record label. He wanted to sign this artist, an artist who's 19 and beautiful and has a great voice, and he himself produced some records for her and brought them to the VP of this major record label. This VP loved the songs, thought she was great, thought she had a great voice, was marketable, right? Like, she was young, pretty, had a good voice, good music, she was marketable. Essentially everything you want. And what this vice president said, and I kid you not, they said, if this were 10 years ago, I would have signed you on the spot. But right now, you don't have any social media. Now, to be a little bit fair, they did tell her, go build a social media following, give it a few months, come back. Long story short, it didn't happen. She didn't have the numbers. It didn't work out. Of course, there are fewer and fewer household names in music every single year. It is the least surprising thing ever. You don't want to invest in somebody because that takes time and money. You don't want to take a chance on potential because why risk it? You don't want to invest in promotion because why would we when social media stars A, B, and C over there already did the hard work of marketing? Labels want you to do all of the hard work before you ever step foot into their office. They want you coming in already developed, already knowing your sound, already having your story, already having a following, already having your songs produced, which, by the way, takes time and money. Completing a record takes so much money. You have to pay somebody to write it. You have to pay somebody to produce it. Even if you do it yourself, let's say you write and produce, you still have to pay for either studio time to record it or equipment if you want a home studio. You still have to pay for somebody to mix and master it if you want to learn how to mix and master yourself. That takes years, to do it well. And then with labels, it's kind of like you want to say, well, if I'm doing all the work, what are you for then? What are you doing besides taking half of my money and ownership to my music? But then realistically, it's nearly impossible to make it major without a major label because they have the money and the resources and the connections